which is handy. It's an office off of that, what's called the classroom now. It used to be the office space from AES. It used to be full of cubicles. They tore all the cubicles out, filled it with your basic, the 8-foot tables with the folding legs and chairs, and there's club meetings there. And for instance, this coming Saturday is the Association of Repeaters meeting is there. And then during the Dayton Hamvention weekend, I assume we're doing it again this year. I actually have to check and see. But we've done now 3 years, I think. We do a freebie parking lot ham fest on Saturday morning at the store. I don't know who originally came up with that idea. I think it was between Dave Schenk and Tom. And we did the first year, and it was pretty small. It was just a handful of cars. But before we were even packed up and on our way home, the main guy had already called and said, yeah, you can do it next year. Because I guess that was the best, to that time at least, that was the best Saturday business they'd done in the store. And so, we've been back a couple times since. Well, hey, and that only helps to get them business. And, it's kind of like South Milwaukee without having to pay to get in. And yeah, it's much smaller, but still, they did pretty well last year. My never-ending quest to try to move some of the stuff out of here. So, there, I guess I haven't talked. Oh, and I'll throw this one in there too. And you mentioned about the software updates. Yeah, software updates on my phone have been driving me crazy. I use a cheap TV rotor turning, I have a butternut butterfly antenna, which is a miniature directional antenna for 10 through 20. And the TV rotors they're okay. There's no break or anything in there, and over time it moves. And so I got to go outside and check and make sure where it's pointed. So I've got a compass app on the phone, and of course every time software updates, for whatever reason, it resets the compass program. So I have to go outside and start waving my arms around to get the compass calibrated. And then a couple of months ago, I got a really good deal on a video doorbell. And this one is different. It's not one of the big names like Ring or any of those, but because it doesn't have to call home, it does everything locally. Whereas Ring and those other things, you're talking through their servers all the time. But the software, it's a company called the Review. They don't actually make it. It's yet another, they're Chinese, and yet another Chinese company called, HIT Vision actually makes the thing. And both of those guys have really not very good software. And there's been a couple of updates to that, and the software as it is wasn't that great, and you would act up. But then the updates come along, and it acts up in totally different ways, and that's what I'm fighting right now. So the software updates are wonderful. That's the kind of thing. Back in my in the earlier days of working with design software, I often would say to, especially marketing guys, I'm like, I would really love to have one of your guys sitting here with me for a day while I'm trying to do something, and where I could just slap them and say, why did you write this? Why did you do this? Anyhow, with that, this is WB9BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. And I think we're live again. I don't know why. It's ironic. I was trying to cancel the stream and go record a video the old-fashioned way so I could upload it later. And when I tried to do that, the stream started up again. and it does seem to be working. I can view it, and it's live. It's not the original one. It's a different one. What did I call it here? I'll have to look. It's called 2 a.m. Net Continuing Hopefully. uh, so if you're still watching the other one, it still says it's waiting for me. But the other one seems to be working. I think. Well, I should stop poking around with that one. I'm trying to talk. And it's extremely rare in the entire history of me using computers for a software update to actually be better than the original software. I can probably count on my fingers the number of times over the years that that's happened. It's always a great surprise when an update actually improves something without making things worse. And this goes back to the old days where you had a floppy disk and you would send in and get another floppy disk. Oftentimes there would be one or two new features that were really nice and a whole bunch of other features that were broken. And nothing has changed. I think the major thing that has changed, I should say, is that everybody just assumes that you've always got a faster device or a faster computer than you had from the last update, so the new software runs half as fast and everybody's okay with that except for me. I don't feel I should be running out and buying a new computer and a new phone every 3 months, and I think I'm unique in that. Of course, I don't buy a new car every 3 years either. I did buy some new tires, and it's appropriate to be talking about that on this channel, I guess. I was going to make a video about my tire experience. I had some tires that I bought in 2005, and I finally threw in the towel on those tires on Saturday. And I've had those tires on, I think, 5 different vehicles, probably close to 150,000 miles on them. Not exaggerating. I did an awful lot of driving with those tires, and they were starting to come apart. So I caved in and went down to Discount Tire and bought some new tires. Now, I was fully expecting Discount Tire to be just like Tires Plus, which I've had very bad experiences with over the years, but I was very surprised and impressed with the quality of service at Discount Tires. So I guess if I need cheap tires again, I'll go back there. Of course, if I need good expensive tires like I usually buy, I'll still be going to the place I buy those from. And I guess from what you're describing about HRO, I will certainly have to check it out. That's very interesting, especially that they have everything out on display where you can see it. Of course, I think that's a good tactic. I don't know if the shelving arrangement will be the same. That was something I liked about AES. I didn't normally go there to look at transceivers, but I would look at antennas and feed lines and things, and all of that stuff seems to be, for the most part, out on the shelves where you could look at it, which I always appreciated. And it's good to hear that antenna array was rescued. I tried to make a video for my main channel about that antenna array the last time I went to AES, and something went wrong with that video. It ended up turning into a bad dash cam video. I set my phone on the dash on my drive to AES. I was going to document the drive there and then the antenna array, but the phone tipped over when I took off from a green light. And that video survives to this day on my main channel, but it's not what I had planned at all. And I think I mentioned that the live stream seems to be working. Nobody is watching it, of course. and here I am again trying to check that out while I talk here, which is a bad thing. As far as I can tell, it is still live. Now I wish it would have just done this in the first place. I'll have to do some poking around with this phone. You know, I like to say that hopefully by next month I can get things more reliable, but as per usual, I will probably not have time until an hour before the net or a half hour before the net next month to poke around and see what I can do with it. So be flying flying by the seat of my pants again. And let's see if we have any last minute check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Anybody else wishes to check in, come now please. Hearing none. Well, I will at some point here download all of these videos from YouTube, stitch them back into one, and re-upload them on the main channel. And I expect they'll get the usual dozen or so views over the course of a month. But we'll see. Got a lot of other things going on around here, so don't know how much time I'll have to do anything anymore. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Dave. Talk as long as you like, but I think we'll call this a 7-3 round. We're getting near the end, but we do have quite a bit of time here. WB9BWP from KC9UDX.
Yeah, okay. I guess we did pretty good, for just two of us. Yeah, it'd be nice if we tried some more people out. But, you know, that's just how things are nowadays. We say that about club meetings, too. I remember when we used to have like 45 people at a club meeting. Now 25 is pushing it. But that's a whole nother discussion about people in clubs. On the radio, yeah, that's something too. I'm always reminded of I'll talk about a contest or something on like the Friday Night Net, and there's a couple of people will say, you know, oh, I don't like doing contests. I prefer to rag chew. And it's like, well, okay, when was the last time you had a rag chew contest? Well, you know, I'm pretty busy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but hey, I can make excuses with the best of them. But actually, contests are probably handy for me. That's probably where most of my contacts actually come from. And at least that way I also get to make sure everything works. That way, you know, the radio's on for hours at a time. And as long as I don't see any smoke coming out of anything and all the meters keep moving, hey, things are good. So, might as well give you a little breathing room there. Instead of, don't want to take it right up to 9 o'clock. And oh yeah, you mentioned about the contract and how that might affect the hours and things. My wife, at the place where she works, which I won't name right now, they have a contract coming up April 1st. And she's at the point where, depending on exactly what occurs, might be tempted to time to retire, or might stick around for a while yet. It all depends. Considering their last contract resulted in no raises for 7 years or something like that. Be interesting to see what comes out. They haven't started, or they didn't start talking until the beginning of March. And I said, how can you possibly come up, with do all your discussions in less than a month. Anyhow, enough of that. Me, I just, walk around and beg people for money. That hasn't worked well the last couple of years, but supposedly there's something maybe on the horizon, but it's with working with another guy, and that's been like, any day now for about 4 or 5 months, so I'm not holding my breath on that one either. Anyhow, I'll say 73, and it's good that you keep doing this even when there's only me out there, or just 2 of us sometimes besides you. Hey, I'll keep needling as many people as I can, and who knows, maybe we'll drag them out here as time goes on. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I can do AM, I think, yeah, I'll have to try that. So, anyway, maybe we'll see you at the Amfest next weekend. I'll be working tickets and trying to sell stuff. And let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else special going on. Oh, we may have a couple of additional prizes. Still waiting for them to be shipped, so hopefully that'll come to fruition there. A couple of companies that said, oh yeah, we'll send you some stuff. Yeah, man, that's always good. I'm always kind of surprised at how people get so worked up over Hamfest prizes. And where's the list? Did you draw any prizes yet? Is my name on there? Did you call my call? Relax, all right? And the last couple of years, our grand prize has been a community radio, and at least the guy that won last year, he's been getting on with that radio. In fact, he was a new hand. I don't think he had it. He took his test for like the week before last year. He won the radio. So that was good. The year before that, it was an out-of-town guy. I'd have to look up his call. He's an older guy. He's been a ham for a while. And he was there at the Hamfest with a 16-year-old son who just took his test and upgraded. So technically, the ticket was for Dad. He won the prize, and he gave it to his kid in front of everybody. So that he got the sympathy vote there. I got applause from everybody in the room. So at least that stuff is good to see. There's a couple of people that have been putting it to use. But that a topic of discussion among some of the club leaders and things has been, there's people taking tests every month. So where are these people? The repeaters are dead. Other than that, the repeaters are dead. And nobody's getting on HF either. So what are these people doing? Anyhow, like I said, good that you're doing this. And see, I still took up a lot of time. 73, we'll make it official there. Hopefully see you next Saturday. And if nothing else, do my best to be here again next month. This is WB9, BWP.
All right, thank you, Dave. And again, thank you for being here. Between you and especially Frank, this is what's been keeping the net going for a very long time now. Before Frank became a regular, we had probably 6 months of no activity. Prior to that, there were some other regulars, which would be nice if some of those guys would return. But maybe there was a point when we switched what day of the week, and we changed frequencies. So I wonder if some of those guys aren't here for those reasons. I have no idea. Unfortunately, this is the only thing I get to do on the radio anymore. Every time I turn on my HF gear, I first of all, I'll have to be careful to make sure it's actually still working, and second of all, have to make sure I still know how to operate it so that I don't burn something up here. That's how long it goes. It's usually, well, you know, the Wisconsin QSO party was was my HF once a year experience. So I'll have to find some other reason to turn all this stuff on again and make sure it still works. But then again, first I have to find time. Um, Unfortunately, I don't even get on the repeaters when I'm driving anymore because the dual bander in my car is broken. I have to put that on the bench and fix it, but first I have to put my bench together, which is not going as planned. I was hoping to have that done at the first of the year, and here we are, well into the year, and I have nothing done on that front. So that's what's going on there. You kind of scared me when you talked about your wife's work. That is exactly word for word what's going on at my work, so you make me wonder if I work with your wife. Of course, I don't want to mention my employer on the air here. If I do, I would have to delete the video from YouTube. They seem to watch social media, and I don't want to get into anything with that. So that's why I don't bring up where I work on the air here. I probably gave away too much already, but it is what it is. As a former coworker who was also a ham used to always say, I wish I could remember his call sign. I can't. He is one of those guys that does not get on the air at all. I've got to rustle up another former coworker, I think. See if I can get him on AM here. And I've got a radio here that is destined for Bill WQ9A, so hopefully get him on here more often. I'll have to bring that to the Hamfest and hope that he shows up so I can give it to him. And with that, we are out of time here, so thanks, Dave, for helping me fill up a good hour. And I will say that this concludes the 2 a.m. net. Excuse me. Feel free to, well, that's pointless. There's nobody else here, and I won't be able to stick around, so I won't even read that part of it. We will meet again on the 9th of April. Until then, this is KC9UDX 73, and good night.